afternoon. This is KDXI St. George, Radio St. George at 100.3 FM. And we welcome you to Startup Nation. Up-and-coming startups, wantrepreneurs go face-to-face with proven business leaders and talk funding, innovation, current business trends, technology, and social media's role in business. And now your host for Startup Nation, Ed Tracey.
Woo, a legend in his own mind, everybody. What's happening there, St. George and surrounding areas? Ed Tracey here, Startup Nation. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Good July 4th. It was hot out, dude.
Yeah.
It was way hot out there.
Yeah.
I don't do well in the heat, as you can tell. I'm white. And so I plug this all the time. I run Street Fest, St. George Street Fest, and it was hot as Hades. And the joke with all the volunteers is, what part of Ed will break down this month? 3 months ago, I had second-degree sunburn. Last month, I had chafing. I walked like a cowboy for a week and a half. And then this time, my feet had blisters the size of rocks on the bottom.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I'm getting old, man.
Yeah.
Don't get... But I'm single, ladies. Hello.
Nice.
Hello. Yeah. So Street Fest was great, of course. That's the first Friday of every month. Don't forget, August 7th through the 10th at the Washington County Fairgrounds. Well, that's St. George Street Fest. But the 7th through 10th, we have the county fair.
Oh, yeah.
And lots of good stuff going on. We're going to do stuff like Battle of the Bands. They're going to have a beer and wine garden for the first time ever in southern Utah at the county fair.
Nice.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of upset people. But it's going to be good. Everybody will be responsible, I promise. So we got that. Love and Theft. Are you a country music fan?
I am.
Yeah, Love and Theft, pretty popular. They're going to do a free concert on Thursday, August 7th. And then August 8th is Blood, Sweat, and Tears. You probably don't know that music. I don't know how old you are, but my age group or older loved Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and they're very popular. So bring your mom, everybody. Bring your mom, your grandma. It's $10 to get in. Going to pack it up. We're doing barrel racing, which they've never done. I have a junior rodeo. Battle of the Bands. So if you have a band and you want to perform at the county fair, come on down. The winner gets to perform on the main stage the following day for a couple of hours and then gets a paid gig at Street Fest, which, of course, I have connections at Street Fest. But, yes, Chuck's wearing his Street Fest T-shirt. Way to suck up, buddy.
You bet.
Chuck Luna, everybody, from Spools of Time, right? Spools of Time.
Yes, sir.
And you take wire spools.
Yes, sir.
And you turn them into amazing pieces of art, dude. So he was there. This is the second time you've been out, right? You were there in June,
month,
and then it was July, and he had this 300-pound. It's the biggest freaking half of a spool I've ever seen, and it had like its own base and everything. It was just a table, right? Pretty much.
Yep. It's our dining room table.
That's your dining room table.
Yep.
So you live on the first floor.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
It's like owning a waterbed. You don't want to have a waterbed and live on the third floor.
Yeah, we did the third floor for a while, but it didn't work. So.
Dude, that's like worse. That's worse than a piano. That thing was friggin' heavy.
Thanks again for helping with that. That thing is.
Oh yeah,
heavy.
dude, that was way cool. And so Chuck's been out there a couple of months. Usually you can find him right at the entrance of the beer and wine garden. He's over there with Backcountry Shutter. And then who are the ladies that were there with you this month?
Dara, Sacred something.
Yeah, I
it's
can't
only
remember.
The second time I met them, but
Nice
she
ladies.
has phenomenal artwork as well.
Yep,
So.
and lots of excitement. You guys sold some stuff, so that's good, right?
Yep.
But yeah, it's just amazing. It makes clocks, makes tables, all sorts of stuff. What else do you make with that stuff?
I do benches, entryway tables, entertainment center.
And all from the spools.
Yep.
So you cut them up then, or?
Yep. Yeah, I take them apart and figure out what it's going to be, and then I cut it up to what it's going to be and put it back together the same way a spool goes back together. So it's just as sturdy, just as stout, all the strength is there. It's a lot of fun.
What kind of wood is that generally?
I want to say it's usually pine.
Right.
I do get some from other countries like Venezuela and
That are made out of small children?
or dogs or cats.
Yeah. Is that a collar? What is that? Yeah, that's pretty cool though. And so how did you get into this? I'm guessing this is the way I was talking to somebody on Friday. I was like, this guy must have been like in construction or something, or you were an electrician, and you're like, dude, they're just throwing these spools away. I can make something out of these.
Right.
Is that close to the truth?
kind of. So I'm almost 40. So I dig that genre of music
All right,
you were
good man.
talking about.
All right,
And
we can be friends then.
yeah, all right, cool. But I laid brick for 15 years. I took a masonry class in high school, and I actually transferred into the masonry because I got kicked out of the electrical class.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Yeah, I'm like that too.
I've been a Sparky since high school.
Too much
but
math.
Yeah. So I did masonry for 15 years. I went to the oil field for 6. Got laid off there. Came back, fell back onto masonry, and when I was at a job up in Cedar City, talked to one of the Sparkies and said, "Hey, can I have those?" And we've been friends ever since.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you've done hard work your whole life, pretty much.
Yep.
It's good, honest work, brother. Hey, man. So, and then you said you get these spools, right?
Right.
If you're like me, I've been single a few times. I have like orange crates, I'm that guy that would have one of those spools as a dining room table, not decorated,
Right.
just,
Just as a spool.
that's it. And a smaller spool as a chair, just because that's all I could afford, So, and then you decided you can make stuff out of this.
Yep.
And how long you been doing this?
The art thing, about 3 years. This is about my 3rd year doing it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I've always loved music and artwork, and I've always doodled and drew pictures, and so this was kind of my way of, I took graphic design. I got my associate's degree in graphic design, and
Sweet.
so this is, like, I had dreams of doing the graphics for all the big hotels down in Vegas, but, yeah.
Gotta dream big, baby.
Well, this dream's pretty big, and Spools of Time is kind of the beginning of it. Like, there's something that I want to start doing called Spools of Love, and that's just kind of a way to give back, and
That's way cool. I think that's awesome, man.
that's down the road ways. I've done kind of one Spools of Love piece so far. It's the Star Wars piece.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So you make something and you kind of donate the proceeds of the sale?
Right.
And what do you do? Who do you give that to?
So this little girl is, I think she's 8 or 9 now, but she has a brain tumor at the back of her brain, and her parents had to take a lot of time off of work to take care of her, and so this was just kind of my way of
Good for you, brother.
giving back to them.
Good for you, man. And you know what? This is funny you say that, because we have a lot of people that listen that are involved. This is a really come together kind of community. I've lived everywhere. It sounds like you have too.
Yeah.
And you know how it is. Sometimes people just walk right by you. But this community gives back, and there's a lot of people that watch this. And I know this because we've had a similar situation where people were giving back to the community and somebody reached out and helped them. So we can make that a big dream of yours.
Well, and I did talk to Alex Boyer last year for the Out of the Darkness walk.
Right.
And I'm trying to get a piece together to give away for that this year. So,
Awesome.
Hopefully that'll come together and work out too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, you and I are going to talk. That's awesome. So Spools of Love, Spools of Time. So you've been doing this for a few years. How many pieces would you say you've made? Where do you?
Probably a half dozen that are like artsy-fartsy and
Gotcha.
crafty.
The other ones are more utility, like tables, benches, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Because you had like art, you had stuff. It was art, man. I mean, it was hanging on the wall.
So that little flag my 8-year-old daughter made.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
She's way more talented than me. I hate her. No. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome,
It's
bro.
super fun.
So the whole family kind of gets in on it, right?
They're starting to a lot more now since
Sure.
we've done the Street Fest. They kind of see that people kind of really like what I do, and they're kind of seeing a want for it from people. And
Gotcha.
so yeah, it's a lot of fun. It just sucks because, like, to show somebody the largemouth bass that I did, the detail and the texture and like touching it and seeing it, it's totally different than looking at a picture.
You paint on these, you carve into them, you do all sorts of things with it.
It's stain. It's always
Gotcha.
stain.
It's
I
always
don't
stain.
paint it because I like to see the wood grain
Sure.
through. And so, No paint, only stain or fire. I like burning
cool.
them. I've been getting into burning them, and then I'm starting to do the Lichtenberg, which is putting lightning through it. Which
Really?
yeah, it's like
How do you do that?
So I watched YouTube.
You can learn, dude. You can learn how to do open heart surgery on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
You're welcome.
So by doing the Lichtenberg though, it's super dangerous. Like even if there was a paramedic parked in front of my house, if I get zapped, I'm dead. But
I'm not helping you
it
now.
looks so cool. I can't stop now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like,
I can't
whoa.
be stopped.
Well, and it sounds like you're bringing Frankenstein to life too. So it's like and you're just
Everybody's like, all right, kids, we're leaving the house now. Daddy's got the torch out. This is so funny. So burning, lightning,
yep,
staining. Is there anything
Carving.
else? Carving.
carving with Dremel.
Well, okay.
I
Gotcha.
want to get into some hand tools.
Like a little mini sander kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like the
and-
Dremel sander.
Yeah, but it's kind of like what the dentist uses to drill in your teeth, but
I'm well
a
familiar
little
with that.
bit bigger. It's more abrasive. So, but it's still like I drive for company semis during the day full
Right.
time. So this is hopefully going to replace that at some point.
Sure.
And
How cool would that be?
Hopefully sooner than later, but I would be so humbled if that happened. But
Sure.
So by driving full time during the day and only working on my pieces in my spare time
Right.
and weekends, it took me like 3.5 months to do the largemouth bass.
Really?
Yeah. But the more I do them, the faster I get.
Sure.
And so like the Smoky Bear was the next one, and that one I want to say, I think that one took about 1.5 or 2 months.
You have a favorite piece?
No, every single one of them
Yeah.
is a favorite piece. So, yeah.
So Don Ibsen, he's one of our state legislators, and he owns a ton of classic cars.
Oh,
And I
really?
would say, what's your favorite? He goes, the one I'm about to buy.
See, and mine is the one I'm just finishing carving.
Sure, because it's what's in your mind. It's where your heart is, And so what are some of the more unique ones that you've made? Did you brought one with you too? Did you bring one? Can you pop
Yep.
it up on the screen? I know.
Yeah.
There's a little tiny camera in front of you, so hopefully it's not too heavy.
Yeah, no, hopefully it's
there you go.
big
Oh, yeah.
enough of a screen.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, it looks nice.
All right.
So that looks like there's some carving in that with the Dremel.
Yeah, so the only thing that's the original spool face is the guitar face and the neck. All the red, white, and blue checkers are all carved. So this whole thing is carved.
So you took it from what the original level was with the guitar
This is right
and
here.
took it down to that.
Yeah, and so the white is approximately 3/16 deep, and then the red is like another 1/8.
And then the blue also.
Yeah, the red and the blue are the same depth, but so it's the colors are the deepest, and then the white, and then the guitar, and then I
Can you see
put
that? Yep, you can see
just
it.
some cable for frets,
Way
and
cool,
then
man.
real guitar strings, has ox bone pins,
And they actually got a little sound to them.
Yeah.
That's great.
a little attitude.
Yeah,
but,
there you go.
and then the abalone pins to kind of top off the look. And
That's great.
So-
And how long does it take you to make something like that?
This-
Now, and is that pretty much a standard size? Because you had all sorts of sizes. You had that giant table.
Right.
You had some smaller than this.
right.
And then,
So this one is kind of an average
right.
for the clock. But the smallest real spool, and when I say real spool, it's 2x4s or 1x or whatever running crisscross and then nailed together.
Gotcha,
The
right.
smallest real spool I can get is a 24-inch.
Yeah. 'cause-
So 2 foot all the way up, excuse me, to 8 feet. I can get an 8-foot reel.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. So
Crazy.
whatever size, whatever you need.
And you just,
That's what I do.
You
I'm
got-
a spool guy.
you
what
are
I
the
heard-
spool guy,
That's
man.
what I heard at the Street Fest on Friday was, oh, there's the spool guy. I was like,
That's pretty cool, man.
okay, I can dig that.
And it's like nothing. And it's one of the reasons I wanted you on here because there's lots of great artists in these towns. Fine art,
Oh, yeah.
statues. You got people that make
Yeah.
stuff out of, whatever.
yeah.
And this is something that's totally, I've never seen anything like this. And so,
But everybody's seen a spool.
right.
And especially from our generation, like you said, you're the type that would
They're
have this
everywhere.
in your kitchen just as a spool. But now I've taken all the work out of it, and you can just come tell me what you want, and I can literally carve anything.
Right.
So as far as your mind can go, that's what I can carve and put on it.
And you know, and the cool thing about it to me is, like you said, you see these things all over the place, but you, as an artist, you see what it can be. You know,
My wife she's such a believer now,
That's awesome.
and because of the fish, like I came home and me and this kid I work with, we picked a picture offline and just he was like, "That's the one," and I'm like, "Yeah, right, dude." I'm like, like $1,500 I'll make that for you, and he's like, "Nah." And we worked
That's
a killer. It was he got a screaming deal on this just because I was like, I'll bet I can do that.
That's
And
awesome.
so I'm like, all right, I'll take your deal just because I want to see if I can do this and what it's going to look like. And it was just mind blowing. My wife was like, oh man, wow.
And you know, even when you start something like that, you don't even really know where it's going to go. You just have an idea, and you hope that it comes out. And
Right.
like you said, with time, it always gets better. You know, you get faster at it, if nothing else.
Oh yeah.
Right. So,
And
she's a believer now, though, huh?
oh yeah. I have ideas that just come out of like all day long, just different ways to transform the spool. And I started with, like I said, with the Lichtenberg YouTube and with the spools. When I first found the first two, I just got on Pinterest and I was like, oh, look at that cool clock. I'm going to make one. The first one, I didn't even carve it. It was just burned and had some floating numbers on it. And I was like, man, what else could I do? And I saw my Dremel. I was like, and it was from there it was gone, and just every piece just keeps getting crazier and crazier. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's awesome.
I want to carve that dining room table. I was originally gonna put a nautical star on it just
Right.
because it's kind of simple, but
Sure.
everybody loves them.
Right.
But I don't know. We'll see. It's just a blank canvas right now.
That's where you got to start, right?
But we use it. Like we had 10 people around that thing for Thanksgiving. We had a 20-pound turkey, a 15-pound ham, green bean casserole, mashed potatoes, all the fixings on the Lazy Susan in the middle.
That's
and then 10
awesome.
people sat around it with the benches. And I have a higher one for my son and my daughter so that they're
And you made the benches.
Yeah, the benches. I made the benches, and I'm working on a chair. I don't have a chair yet to go with the table.
Well, chair's got to be a little tougher, probably.
Well, I can make small benches.
Right.
I mean, it's a chair.
Yeah. I get it.
But I want to come up with a really cool idea for my chair. Like, because everything that I've done, it's like I said, it goes back together like a spool. So it's kind of my trademark thing is it goes back together like a spool. So it's just as sturdy. Unless you want legs, like the dining room table, it has a triangle that comes up through the table from the leg.
Well, so those legs that you had for that big thing,
Yeah,
they
the 80-pound legs.
dude, man, they were freaking. I'm like, where's this thing going? They're like, oh, we got to put it on that. I'm like, those things don't look like it's gonna hold that up. They were heavy.
Yeah.
They were huge. What is that made out of? Just
Now, see,
telephone poles.
Those are 6x6 lumbers that I got out of the oil field, and I've been saving them because I was like, I want to do something cool with these, and so that's what they turned into.
And it balances the table okay? I mean, do you screw them in, or what do you?
No, so on the top of the table, or on the top of the leg, there's a triangle that's cut out. It's
Right. I saw that.
And so that slides through a triangle in the tabletop,
okay.
and so they're flush. Well, they're almost flush. I got a couple little things to do to them, but they're almost flush with the tabletop, so that so you see the legs through the tabletop.
It took us 4 people to put that in the back of your truck.
Yeah.
I don't know who helped you get it back in the house.
My wife, my daughter.
Your wife's hella strong.
Yeah.
I don't want to pick a fight with your wife. So that's cool. I mean, that's amazing to me that you do even that kind of stuff. So benches, clocks, and basically clocks. You're buying a timepiece that goes in the middle, right? And you're making whatever you do with it. And,
Yep. Yeah. And the hands fit the clock, so you don't have like this little teeny tiny clock on this great big.
Right.
Yeah, they fit the spools. So,
you ever have special requests for stuff?
everything that I've done so far has been custom ordered. You know, they tell me what they want, but that's the thing is, if you want something, you just gotta tell me what you want, and I can do it. with copyright. So
Sure.
copyright and stuff. I'm trying to figure out how to get all the rights, and because I have done a couple NFL tables as gifts.
Oh, yeah?
So my old masonry boss, I did a 4.5-foot Seattle Seahawks table. It's all on my Facebook and Instagram, but I did a Denver Broncos patio table for my neighbor.
And what is your Facebook, by the way?
I want to say Facebook is hand carved 2016.
Yeah, let me see.
I mean, if you type in your Google search bar, Spools of Time,
Right.
my Facebook is the first thing that pops up.
Spools of Time.
There you go.
There we go. Spools of Time on Facebook. There we go. And it is at Handcarved 2016.
Yep.
You got it.
And then my Instagram, I believe, is at Spools of Time. So, I mean...
And I love your profile pic. Do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life.
That's
Amen
it.
to that, buddy.
Yes, sir.
And then Instagram, we'll find it real quick here. Instagram, I cannot spell. It's important to bring your glasses when you do stuff like this, when you get to be my age.
That's just because it's because everybody relies on Google for everything.
Dude, I can't survive without Google. So
I don't think anybody can nowadays.
well, it's so funny you said like you YouTubed the Lichtenberg thing. I do that with everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Like my son, I bought my car. Well, I traded cars with my oldest, and he gave me a Camry, and he gave me all this, the CV boots and the axle. I'm like, what is this? He goes, well, it needs to be replaced. I'm like, who's gonna do it? He goes, just YouTube it. I'm like, no, that doesn't. No,
CV boots. Oh man.
I'm like, come
That's
on
a
now,
project.
dude.
Yeah.
Do you not know me? It's not happening. So anyway, I got a closet full of auto parts.
Nice.
And a YouTube link. You're welcome. All right. So Instagram, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You're on both of those.
Mm-hmm.
And
Website's coming soon. It's in the works right now.
Good.
So yeah.
And
that'll have a store, because I make. So here's the thing with my artwork as well. So I won't carve the same thing twice. Like,
well, really, you can't. I mean, even if you did 2 Seattle Seahawks tables.
well, but the same design.
Right. Okay.
So like that 4.5-foot Seattle Seahawks table, that will be the only one ever produced, ever.
By the way, if they were a better team, the table would have been bigger. Just saying. Just saying, everybody. Okay.
It was big enough.
Go Jets.
Go Donkeys.
Okay, whatever, dude.
All right.
So funny.
Yeah.
And if somebody wanted to reach you, can they call you?
Sure.
What's your telephone number?
It's area code 801-791-3993.
Or spoolsoftime@gmail.com.
Yes, sir.
That's all. Hand carved and crafted.
And that is my cell, so you can text me as well too. Sometimes that's better because I drive for
Right.
During the day. So
you long haul, short? Are you local
I
drive?
did long haul for a little over a year for a local company, and then my wife said, "You pick that truck or me?" And I said, "Oh, this truck ain't that nice."
Right. Yeah. I've been put in that position before and made the wrong choice.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Cheaper to keep her.
Hey.
Especially when you love them. Especially when you love them, buddy.
17 years this July.
And she still loves you.
Yeah. Yep.
Good man. When's your anniversary? Put you on the spot.
I said July. It's May 23rd. Yeah.
You forgot your anniversary. You can stay at my house.
Well,
She's going to kill you now. So, awesome. So Facebook, Instagram, you got a website coming up.
Yeah.
What else? What do you, when you're sitting around, where do you get your inspiration from on some of these things? I mean, obviously somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, I want this," but do you ever say, like the fish, like that? I mean, that was something that, you didn't think you could do and you did it.
Right.
Is there something that you would love to make that you've always said, "Oh man, if I could do this, I'd be the spool king"?
Well, see, I grew up in the 90s, so I grew up on old school hip hop and country, and like Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Vanilla Ice,
Tupac, Vanilla Ice, MC Hammer, like the whole spiel. Like they're all my favorite bands.
Yeah,
whichever one I'm listening to, that's my
we
favorite
could be
band.
best. We could be best friends.
But
People don't like me listening to my music in my car, by the way, just for that very reason. I'm like, what that crap you listen to? It's George Michael.
And you're just
I'm just banging away on those songs. It's so sad.
I gotta have a loud stereo too.
I get it.
But I found a Tupac Biggie black and white. So
really?
Half of it's Tupac and half of it's Biggie, but it's black and white. I think that would be a lot of fun to do.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break here. The music's going to start here in like 3 seconds. Right. When we come back, we're going to talk about, how you get the word out. I mean, obviously you do Street Fest and that sort of thing, and, the costs involved. And if you had something like Blue Sky, if you could do anything with your business, we're going to talk about all that stuff. So we got Chuck Luna here from Spools of Time, Ed Tracey, Startup Nation. We'll be back in like a minute, everybody. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hi there, this is Bill McLaughlin of Exploring Music. This week we're going to be exploring the world of Hector Berlioz, a man who never understood the concept, that's enough. From Berlioz, there could never be too much, whether it was music or literature or love or life. We'll hear the fantastic symphony of damnation of Faust, the Requiem, the Trojans, and much more. Never enough. That's Berlioz. This week on Exploring Music.
Exploring Music, weekdays at 5 on Radio St. George 100.3. A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder at Tuacahn.
Our hero is Monty Navarro, who hatches a murderous plan for ladies and lords to meet their rewards, and all played by one clever man.
This musical's not a whodunit. Rather, how does he do it? At times, he gallops along and he does it in song, along with some excellent rhyme.
At Tuacahn, A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, July 5th through August 10th at Tuacahn.
A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder,
classic
and modern as well.
Tickets available at tuacahn.org.
It'll knock 'em dead.
The DSU Dixie State University Front Desk and Testing Center hours over in Hurricane have new hours because of the summer session. This period is from May 6, 2019 to August 14th, 2019. The Monday through Wednesday hours are 9 a.m. through 7 p.m. The Tuesday through Thursday hours are 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the Front Desk and Testing Center will be closed.
Radio St. George 100.3 is one of 2 radio stations at Dixie State University. The broadcast facility's primary goal is for the education of those interested in radio. As a DSU student, you have the opportunity to get hands-on radio experience with 2 real-life FM radio stations. Curious? Want to be a DJ or have a talk show? Record audio? Do live sports broadcasts or more? Take the radio class at DSU and be a part of Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
Enjoy Evening Jazz, weeknights from 7 to 10 on Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
We welcome you back to Startup Nation. Here's your host, Ed Tracey.
Hey, everybody. Startup Nation, Ed Tracey. We're talking to the legendary king of spools, the Spoolmeister, the Spoolburger, Chuck Luna, Spools of Time.
Hello.
And we've kind of got to know each other basically through Street Fest, and he is he's an artist, really. I mean, he makes, it's furniture, a lot of it is tables and chairs and stuff, but it's a work of art. And if you weren't watching earlier, he's got this really cool spool that he made, looks like a guitar, really, and it's awesome. And he does a lot of that stuff. So, and you love what you do, right?
Oh, I love it.
And if you could do it all day long, that's what you'd do. If you could do what you love and make money at it, bam.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And the wife would love you, maybe, because you're home all the time then. I don't know.
Yeah.
If I was married, I don't think my wife would like me home all the time. I'm a bit annoying at times. But, so you've been doing this for less than 5 years, basically. Yep. And just kind of started as a hobby. Yep. You've done Street Fest twice now. Have you done any other festivals?
I did the Tuacahn Art Market,
The Saturday Market? How'd that work out?
I did that a few years ago when I really first started going.
Still kind of new at it.
Yeah, and it didn't really, people liked what I did, but it wasn't my niche up there. It's kind of bracelets and small art stuff,
right?
CBD
oil, gluten-free biscuits. I know.
Yep.
I've seen it all.
Yep.
I've seen it all. So what do you? So Now, you mentioned earlier before we went to our break, you'd like to have a little storefront.
Oh yeah.
Right? That costs money.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Some people, and it's so different. Like, we're kind of close in age. You know, back in the day, there was no internet in the 90s. Yeah. You know, they didn't have apps. People couldn't get online and ask 5,000 complete strangers to finance their business. Right. But that's the thing now.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah. You know, fewer people go to a traditional bank and ask for money. But also, if you think about it, fewer people are doing like the typical storefront. We had Elise West from Affogato West, who, by the way, is celebrating their second year. And she talked about, you know, going to the bank and getting things started. She started in a big old truck that she bought. I think she said she got it on Craigslist, and, you know, and the things that she did to get started. She's a storefront. She's a physical location. Right. You know, if you're, you know, whatever, all these different apps, you know, these guys are out there getting money, and you have a physical product. So it's not like you necessarily, I mean, and it could hang in a gallery. I mean, you could do one of those things. You could do a show, an exhibition somewhere at one of the many local galleries, put your stuff up, maybe you sell it. Right. But what if you had a store that people could go to? Not a very big store. It doesn't have to be big, right? 1,000 feet, 500 feet. Yeah. You could sell that stuff all day long. Right. Then, you know, then you've got your costs involved. You got utilities. You got your rent. You got your insurance.
Help.
You get, because you can't be there all day, every day, and your wife doesn't love you that much. So, honey, what are you doing today? It's our anniversary. So you're going to help me at the store? Yeah. No. That is deadly. Let me tell you right now. So, you know, you got these things you got to consider, right? Right. What am I trying to say here? I'm old. My mind just went blank. Is that you, Mom?
I can't remember. I can't. Forgot.
Exactly, dude. It's terrible. This happens to me at least once an hour. So you'd like to get a place. Have you thought about, you know, where you want to go with it? You know, what you envision this store to be? Obviously, it's going to be called Spools of Time. Yeah. Is it just going to be you? You're going to share a space?
No, just me.
Just you, man.
Just me, my own gallery. One day, the dream, the goal, ultimate goal is to have a gallery. I'm not sure where. I really love Southern Utah.
Sure.
So I'd really like to stay here, but...
And it's growing. There's so many people moving to this area. Oh, it's ridiculous.
Right. And so the gallery is where I want to be. Sure. You know, because then when somebody comes in, and see, that's the thing is, the art that I make, you know, it's kind of sticker shock sometimes because I don't put prices on my work. So, you know, and they're like, oh, but I like making deals, you know.
Sure.
And sometimes.
And like you said, with Spools of Love, you give pieces away, you know, for the right reasons. It's not like you're, you know, trying to gyp somebody. Right. It's of value. Yeah. And if it's not of value to them, then they don't buy it. If it's of value to them and they see you know, they see what you see, they're going to buy it.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to buy it. Yep. So, so a store, that would be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. And this is a big art community, man.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if you went to the art festival that they had a couple of months ago.
I missed it.
Dude.
Working.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. There's a lot of opportunity here. Have you thought about doing other festivals?
Yes. Actually, my friend Backcountry Shutter is kind of...
Jason Mahalik.
Yep. Jason is my good friend and an amazing photographer.
He really is.
Kind of pushing me, you know, to get outside my comfort zone with the festival because I had such bad, you know, kind of vibes from the Tuacahn Saturday market. And it's not... I love that market. It's a beautiful.
You just got to swing the bat. You never know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
You know?
It wasn't for me. So, but doing the street fest, that's not even a full blown art show or a home show. See, I would love to. Okay. So my goal, and this might happen now because I'm going to open my mouth.
Say it. Speak it. Make it happen.
I've wanted to be in the Parade of Homes, like my dining room table, or like I know one of the guys I work with, he's got a cousin that's a interior designer, and all of their rooms, I think there was like 8 of them, they were all themed.
You just said the right thing. Anybody from Suba, Southern Utah, home builders listening, get his stuff in the Parade of Homes. Somebody knows somebody.
That
Let's
would
make
be
this happen.
That would be so much fun.
Oh, man, that would be awesome.
That'd be cool.
You got to do, and if it does happen because of this radio show, you have to do a table with my face on it. That I'm sure everybody would want to buy one of those.
I've got a kind of a cartoon picture of my face on my Facebook, so I can do that. I can make that happen.
I have one of those too. Well, my face is kind of like a cartoon, so that's so funny. All right, Parade of Homes.
Thought
what else?
About Kickstarter or something towards that effect, but that scares me.
Yeah, I get it, and it's a lot of work. I mean, crowdfunding, I don't know if you know anybody that's ever done it. You know, when it first started, you're like, oh, crap, man, this guy raised $1 million to sell pet rocks. You know, all he had to do, he put a video out, he sent it to 500 of his friends, and he raised $1 million. No, that's not how that works. You put that out there, you spend money to put out a semi-professional video, you email everybody, you work it. The very beginning of the campaign and the very end of the campaign are literally the hardest and most valuable to you in those things. And you don't know how much money you're going to make. You don't know. It's a crapshoot. But so one of the joys of being a mouth like me and being out in public is I have the joy of emceeing events like Product Power Up. So they're entrepreneurs,
right? But
they create products.
Cool.
Charlie Bessie from Koala Tree, Eric Baird from Grenogi. Sam Bernard, CEO of Purple Innovations. I meet all these guys that they have a product, and the only way that they sell their product is through Kickstarter.
Right.
That's a big thing. Now,
crazy.
And that's awesome, and they do well.
Right.
The downside then is being able to duplicate that. You know, you've got to be able to take what it is that you do, and then at some point it gets so big, you're like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I've got to have a mechanical, I create it, I put it in the computer, and the machine makes it or something, or, because then you're, got a lot of work to do then. And
well, so now I've
scale. That's the word I was. You got to be able to, if you want to scale it, that means you're doing it here and somebody else is doing it over here for you while you're sleeping, kind of thing.
Right.
So,
well, and that's the thing is, I could get a CNC machine to plug in the thing, and then it would just and it would be done in like an hour, 2 hours.
And does it come out the same though?
No.
Right. So that's the thing.
And so that's why I like what I do, and it's hard for people to understand that I like that. Mm-hmm. They're like, dude, go buy a CNC. I have people buy spools, the ones that I don't want, that I don't use. I sell them, and so they'll come over, and I'll be like, yeah, this is what I'm working on. They're like, whoa, and I'm like, yeah. So they're like, dude, you should get like a CNC machine. Then you can pump these out. You can sell them for like $200 all day long. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool, man. I'll just take my time, and
exactly
when it sells, it sells. I mean, they kind of speak to me. I don't rush them. It's like they just make themselves, and I'm just kind of the helper.
I don't know if you know who Matt Clark is, one of my favorite all-time guys here in St. George. He is injured in his car rolled over on him while he was working on it when he was 17.
Oh, man.
Been a quadriplegic ever since.
Really?
But he makes some of the most amazing welded pieces of art. If you see his stuff all over town, beautiful horses. He makes amazing artwork, and he does it from a wheelchair with specially fit gloves that have tools on the end of these gloves.
Really?
And the guy, I'm telling you, when I tell you, if you complain about your life, I'm going to punch you in the mouth, because this guy is amazing. And he's like that. He could probably get some kind of, the CNC or whatever machine to duplicate it, but then your heart's not in it. It's not you. And I'm telling you, to look at the pieces that he made when these things first happened to him and he was starting to make art, you wouldn't know it was the same person. His, obviously he was new at it. And so now you look at these amazing pieces that go for tens of thousands of dollars. And he lives right here in this community. And, oh man, just amazing stuff.
I'd love to see him do that. That would be so much fun.
There's actually a short film that's going to be in Doc Utah this year about him.
Really?
And done by Taylor Deuce. Amazing short film. And the guy is just, and he's the nicest guy in the world. You you would not know, that he's been through these, aside from the fact that he's sitting in a wheelchair,
Right.
So yes, I get it. Your heart, you can't express through a machine what your hands are being told by your heart to make.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but that's awesome. So, all right. So maybe Kickstarter, maybe one of those things. Does it cost you a lot of money? I mean, is there any overhead involved? Do you buy these spools? People, you drive by and they go, hey, you want to get rid of that garbage? I'll take that spool off your hand.
Right. I mean,
you're like the junk guy, right?
Yeah. Well, and see, that's the thing is, anybody can get one. They throw them away.
Sure.
And so, for me to go pick them up, that's why I sell the ones that I don't use, because it takes my time to go pick them up. I have the fuel because I have a big Ford F-350 long bed that I haul them with. So.
Because you're $30 in gas just to go across town.
Right. So, but, they just thrown away and.
Gotcha. It's just amazing. So there's no really expense there. Does it cost you for lightning?
Yeah.
That's gotta
see my electric bill.
Dude, I was going to say, you hear like the guy at Christmas time that has 7 million lights on his house. You're like, what's that?
Clark Griswold.
Yeah, exactly. That's so funny.
Yeah, no, I don't have any helpers, so it's just me right now that does it.
You have a workshop? You do this in your living room? Where are you doing all this stuff?
My garage, man.
So your car parked, your truck stays outside, the wife's car stays outside, the kids' big wheels are outside. The motorcycle is parked in around back.
It's more like, I'm more like king of the scooter club. It's not just a 250, but
whatever, dude.
It's fun.
Hey, at least you have one.
And it's my first bike, so I'm enjoying learning how to do it.
I want to learn how to ride.
Oh, dude.
So I got a son that wants to ride a motorcycle. I want a motorcycle, but every time I start dating somebody, they're like, you get a motorcycle, we're not dating. I really need to have the guts to go, you're out of here.
Yep.
You're out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, good deal. And what kind of motorcycle?
Just a little Suzuki 250. Yeah.
Rice Rocket.
No, it looks more like a cruiser.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's cool.
Just a mini version.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it sounds like a scooter, so it's about just a little faster than a scooter. It just looks like a motorcycle.
Dude, I'm that old guy on the scooters in town at 10 o'clock at night. So that's my fun for the night. If I had nothing to do, I'm like, screw it. I'm going to walk downtown, get a scooter, and stalk people. Who's that creepy old guy in a scooter at 10 o'clock at night?
The battery pack's flashing.
Yeah, totally flashing. That's my pacemaker that's flashing. So, yeah, the county fair was not county fair. The parade, the 4th of July parade Friday. I live on Main Street and 100 South, and we had a meet at 900 East and Tabernacle. I'm like, I'll drive down there. I was like, you know what? I'm not driving down there. I live a block away from 90 scooters. Yeah. I'm going to spend $1, and I just zipped down Tabernacle. I felt like the Pope. Everyone's like, hey. I was like, hey. This is great. That's me.
Everybody knows you, so you're
it kind of is kind of funny.
You're like, yeah.
People text me, you look stupid. I'm like, I'm going to run you over with this scooter. Trying to stop it was a lot of fun. They're like, oh, here he comes. Kids running. It's a hot mess.
Get the cardboard boxes.
Yeah, mommy, he's coming. Yeah, good times.
Yeah, buddy.
So yeah, I'm getting a motorcycle.
Okay.
Nobody can tell me no. Yeah. So you work out of your garage now.
For now,
right? Because at some point,
for the past 3 years,
right. So your garage looks like hell right now. The wife goes out there and she's like,
it looks
you better start making money. Or you're going to be out in the garage with these things.
And I got stacks of spools laid up on both sides. I'm like, babe, I need to get some more. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm running out of slats. There's like this giant pile piled up, right? Like 500 of them. Like, I need more slats. I'm running out.
This sounds strangely familiar. I'll tell you something funny. I've never told anybody in this town this. This is the God's honest truth. In the 90s, I used to sell caskets.
Really?
Yeah. You want to see those things in your garage? The neighbors don't come over. Just saying.
I think I'll probably design and build my own casket.
You could
put some Lichtenberg on it.
Oh man! Well,
put that monster M on the top of it.
That would be awesome.
Just be like, here, that is monster truck.
That's put some wheels on it. Make it a lowrider or something. Put a lift kit on it or something. Whatever. That'd be great.
Some hydraulics, so they don't even have to drop it down. It just goes
down into the hole. Yep. That'll be a send-off and a half. I'll be there for that. Trust me.
All right. Okay.
So, so really, aside from that, there's really not a lot of costs. I mean, I don't want to say it's all profit, but obviously,
just the 3 months that it takes to make it.
Yeah, it's a lot of time. Yeah. And time is money, really.
Yeah. So hourly, I want to say that the fish was probably. And it's kind of hard because it's like I go out on Saturday and I just work out there all day. I can't, I got to take care of the kids for a little bit, and I got to run to the gas station or run to the
Fatherly
store.
duties.
So I just kind of guesstimate. Right. I want to say that piece, there was 48 to 60 hours in it. So, like I said, 3.5 months of weekends and spare time after work.
So it's not something you're going to sell for $50, in other words, because there's a lot of time and effort that goes into it.
Yeah.
And I think
that's what I want people to see is when they look at my art, I'm selling you a 30-inch piece of art, not a 30-inch clock. You can go to Walmart or Taipan or TJ Maxx and buy a made in China that will say made in China right on the face for $300.
Sure.
And we have
and not bat an eyelash. People will
and
spend
they'll hang it and proud, and they're like, "Well, look at my big clock," and it's like my wife.
Who made that? Inspector number 5.
With the little Chinese symbol next to it.
Yep.
I mean, it's great if that's what you need, but my wife does just a pure stained clock, and those start at $300. The carved spools, a simple carving, I usually start around $600.
There you go.
And that's finished and hung, and I mean, if you're local, hand delivered or set up or whatever. I'm working on shipping. That'll probably come with the.
Gosh, that's got to be expensive.
Yeah. Because
you should get one of those Amazon drones to deliver them.
That would be cool.
Be like an army helicopter. Here's your table. What?
You're right.
Guys on ropes coming down.
So this I think this is a 30-inch spool that I just showed everybody, and it's a smaller, lighter spool. It's kind of a new spool. But I have a 36, so it's only 6 inches bigger, but it weighs like 50 pounds more.
Well, how much does that thing weigh?
This one probably weighs about 30 or 40 pounds.
Still pretty heavy, dude.
Yeah. The dining room table, just the tabletop's 300.
Oh, I know.
And then it has a 30-inch lazy.
I know because I helped you move that stupid thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime, buddy.
Next month, is that work?
And thankfully, we had Team Raw there, who were the volunteers of the year, and they're like the biggest Polynesians I've ever seen in my life. They're like, come on, bro.
Yeah. I want to say that they're going to be one of the next Spools of Love thing.
That would be cool.
They got the Ace of Spades for their logo. I think it would be kind of a fun.
Oh, they would love that, man.
Yeah.
They're the nicest guys.
Oh, yeah.
They came out. So we have a different, volunteer group every month, and we donate $500 to their cause, and they are worth it. They do a lot of stuff for these kids in the community. And I said, I need a couple of volunteers. They showed up with 45 kids, and what normally takes me, well, you saw me the month before, I was an a-hole to a lot of people. I was stressed. I'm
surprised you have hair this month.
I know, dude. I'm surprised I have hair ever. So when they showed up this month, in what normally takes me an hour and a half, literally took like 10, 15 minutes, and we were done.
Well, I pulled up with my truck all packed with.
Oh yeah, and they helped everybody unload their stuff.
They were ready to get the table out with everything on it, with
the
benches and everything.
Well, they can do that.
You guys go sit in the shade for a minute, and let me get this light stuff out, And then even still, it was like my wife and my kids were like, "Oh, we don't have to help again." I'm like, come on, get over here.
All right. We're at the end of the night. I was like, I got to bring those guys back every month. I'll give them money every month. That was amazing.
Hey, I'll start selling some pieces, hopefully, and I would love to help donate to those guys.
Oh,
they are fantastic.
Good guys. And Bear and Josh and all those guys, amazing counselors, and they do a lot for those kids and for the community, because these kids, those
kids looked up to them.
Yeah, totally.
Like they love those guys. Like, You could tell that they're doing good.
Yeah, and there's it's funny. They came out to a chamber luncheon a couple of months ago, and we had guys, grown men, that started in that program that literally said, you know what, I was in and out of jail, and these guys saved my life.
Right.
And that's a big thing, dude.
Yeah.
We need mentors like that.
And honestly, I've been there. You know,
I hear you.
I've been to jail multiple times, and a long.
Dude, I got a wing named after me.
Yeah, that's been almost a couple decades since those party days.
You live and learn, right?
Yeah.
You either live and learn or you repeat history, and that's not good.
Hey, and you know what, I live my life happy. You know, I don't let the little things bother me. I go to work and yeah, sometimes I want to strangle somebody, but I mean, you're gonna deal with it at any job, and so I just want to bring happiness with what I do. And
you do, buddy. You really do. I mean, that's one of the things I loved about it. I was like, oh, this guy's pretty talented. He needs lighter tables,
that's what they keep telling me. I'm like,
well, it's hard. It's hard. And any good artist, any person that's starting out, it's hard to take compliments.
Right.
It just is.
And I appreciate it. It's
dude,
very much.
You got it going on. So if you could do anything over again with what you do, what would you do differently? Is there anything you'd change? Anything you'd try and make better?
Maybe getting my shop a little bit faster. I tried a few times of, you know,
like space.
Well, like, you know, going, hey babe, I'm gonna quit my job. I did that twice. I told my
how did that work out?
It didn't work out.
No, it did not.
I'm very thankful I'm still married at this point,
buddy.
But,
I feel you.
So I'm good with just kind of riding what I've got going.
Sure.
You know, if some comes, like I'm working on a pretty big order for some guys in Parowan. Hopefully this will come through on a big order of benches, which might help kickstart the yard and shop and all that stuff. But I just go to work and
do your thing.
We'll see.
Earn your stripes, pay your debt.
That's what they told me when I got into masonry and then again in the oil field.
Oil field's hard work, dude. I had some buddies that did that stuff. I had another one that worked on a salmon boat. Salmon boat, and those guys.
I thought about that, but at least if I fall out of the board, I'll hit the ground at some point. When you fall out of a boat, who knows where you're going?
Especially,
you could go to the bottom. You could just go to China. Who knows? You get stuck under an iceberg for 10 million years.
That's not okay.
Yeah. Okay. So,
one more time, let's tell them your Instagram and Facebook again for Spools of Time.
It was at Handcarve 2016 for the Facebook,
right?
And the
or just look up Spools of Time, comes up in the search, first one.
Yep. And then Instagram is at Spools of Time.
At Spools of Time.
And then the website will be coming soon. Yep. I've already got the name locked in. I'm just trying to find my time because of my graphic arts. I would like to do it myself.
Sure.
So
like anything, it's just finding the time, brother. You know how it is.
Well, and see if I found some time and worked on it, I might get a store going and might be able to experiment with some shipping. But until, you know, I did a clock for Dr. Laura out in California.
Oh, Dr. Laura.
That was fun.
I know that name. Yeah. Chuck Luna, Spools of Time, very talented guy, and check out his artwork. Go to his Facebook page, and thanks for being here, brother.
Thanks for having me, man.
We had a great day. Startup Nation, we'll see you next week. We're going to talk about the Brad Stapley Memorial Golf Tournament next week. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Startup Nation with Ed Tracey. For video and or audio of the show, go to YouTube or Facebook, Podbean, or